This is a production of KMmedia.pro. Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. Our goal is simple: to explore evolving ideas one conversation at a time. So come on over into our world. I know you'll like it, because on today's show... Oh, it's not very often that I have the opportunity to interview world-renowned people who have been just doing a lot of great stuff for humanity and for the world. And today happens to be one of those days. Welcome to Positive Talk Radio on KIXI. Eric, how are you today, sir? It's a beautiful day out there.
It is indeed another fabulous Friday.
Yes, indeed. I've heard that the weekend's not going to be quite as fabulous, but that's life.
Well, looks like it's going to be a little cloudy with a chance of rain, but warming up a little bit to around 54 instead of 50. So, you know, there's a trade-off there.
Indeed, indeed. And our guests today, they are just remarkable people. One has been accepted into a Hall of Fame for songwriting. He does lots of songs. He's an author. And Mary Elizabeth Jackson not only is a star in her own right, she's got sisters Jay, who have been on the show before.
That's right, friends of the show. And
we love those kids. They're just amazingly talented. And Mary is the mother of those. She works with autism. She's just amazing. She was in Washington, D.C. not too long ago talking about it in front of a Senate or a House commission, one of the two, and she's just an awesome lady, and I'm looking forward to having the entire hour with her. I'll ask her during the course of the hour if we can play Sisters Jay's latest at the end of the show, but I have to get Mom's permission first.
Of course.
So with that, is Thornton, do we got him?
Yeah, Thornton Cline seems to be having connection issues, so he hasn't joined us. But as soon as he does, I'll bring him right on for you.
I appreciate it, young man. And Mary, how are you today?
I am amazing. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I'm doing wonderful. And yes, you can play the girl's song anytime that you want. It doesn't matter. All the time.
First of all, I met you through them. Somehow we got connected, and
Scotland.
Oh yeah, and Scotland got us connected, yes. And she's a wonderful friend of the show as well.
Yes,
and I didn't really know, because you were there to promote Sisters Jay, and you really didn't talk about you were hiding from me all the things that you do and how involved you are in the community with TV and radio and podcasting and writing and being an author and also managing the girls. And I call you guys the Jackson 5.
We are the Jackson 5. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you're phenomenal. And
thank you.
I'm really glad to have you here, because we got lots and lots of stuff to talk about. Hopefully Thornton, for some reason, wherever he is, he has connection issues. I don't know.
I know. And he even got a new phone. And so we were excited. We thought it would be totally fine. He's very proud of his new phone. And it could be what I'm thinking. He's in Nashville right now at a writing session in a studio. So he's actually like living the dream, or living the life of writing with songwriters. And he's got two really great people he's writing with today. And it could be the building. I have no idea, but I thought for sure today would be okay. But he does have tech issues when we do interviews, bless his heart. So
part of it is in a studio like that, they're soundproof.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it doesn't allow stuff to get in or out. So
yeah,
hopefully,
so I'm just keeping an eye on my phone in case he says, "Hey, help me." So
well, hopefully he will be able to call in and we can patch him in or whatever with Eric and stuff. But in the meantime,
right,
I would really like to talk to you. Now, you and Thornton are co-writers of children's series books. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, very excited. I have two of the books here with me, so we can show it. So the books have been on a long journey, very long. And we actually have a new publisher. So we want to give a shout out to Norton's Triad Publications. We have amazing women that we are privileged to work with. And they took us on. We have 4 children's books, and our publisher a year and a half ago died suddenly, and he was a good friend. And so that was really, really hard. And took a while to get footing back and kind of do that search and debating whether we're going to go self-publishing or try to find a publisher. And so I knew J.M. Northrup from North's Triad, and we began talking, and then the discussion started. And so we signed a contract last year before Christmas. And it's taken a long time to get all the, everything back from the other publisher, get everything organized. And what we've done actually is we've had to rename the books. And it's called, there are 3 books in the Inspired Kids series. So we love that very much because, I'm about empowering and inspiring kids. So that's really amazing. But the first one, I wrote it back in 2013 after my son was born. And we had a pretty difficult birth with him and what we were facing. And then I had a very scary after he was born situation. So he was about 5 months old, I guess. And I was nursing, and I was just in this place of complete gratitude that we were both alive and survived. And so I say that the book was downloaded because that's really sort of how it happened, and I believe in divine interventions, divine downloads, divine information flowing through us, because of my experience. So it was really funny because at that time, all this stuff started flowing out of me, and I started writing, and everything was rhyming. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Why is this happening? And, but I kept everything in a notebook, and I sat on it, and I thought I would just give it to my children one day, because at that point I was like, I'm just a mom, nobody's going to want to read what I write. And, it was 2015, and I kept getting this nudging. That's what I say, that said, you got to do something with this. And so I was introduced to Thornton. So our friendship began then. And he read everything I had written at the time and said, I love this story here. And it's the first book. And at the time it was called Perfectly Precious Poolicious, because when I looked at my son, that's the word I heard. We have nicknames for our kids, right?
Yep.
And so I was a big fan of Pooh, but I love Poolicious. There's Pinkalicious. There's there's Purplelicious. There's all those books now out there. But we got into conversation, and he was like, can I write 10 songs for this book? And I was like, sure. Like, we just met, and I was like, well, I'm not going to turn that down. And so in a week, he wrote 10 precious songs. And so my girls went into his studio and recorded them. And that's sort of how their career together of singing started, because when the book launched, so this all happened in 2015, 2016, we got a contract end of 2016 around August or whatever. Book launched 2017, February 9th. But when we started doing book events, which, authors did all the time back then before the pandemic, the girls would come with me and sing. And so then that's how all this kind of started. And, Carson, my son, is the cover. It's his picture on these covers. But, the inspiration for it is him. And it's about accepting yourself, how you came into this world, that you are okay. And in all 3 books, that's really an important thing to get from the story. And there are I am pages in each of these books to get that language started with kids early. I am amazing, I am wonderful, I am love, I am joy, I'm one of a kind, because we really have to teach them that positive language, because we're not kind of born with that language.
Yep. And you, because of your kids, and I know a little bit of their story, Lily was 2 years before she could talk.
No, it was longer than that. She was 3, 4, and then it was probably 6 before it was complete. sentences, and she could say, she could answer who, what, where, why, how, and when. I think she was a 4.5 before she ever said, I love you. And Carson was little verbal and then regressed. And then it took a while to get where he was verbal. And so early intervention, I'm 100% supportive advocate for, because of what it's done for both of my, 2 of my 3 kids. It was like magic.
Well, and I was struck when you were telling me the story, because not only is she an extraordinarily gifted artist, singer,
Mm,
actor, all these things, she's a wonderful human being, and
yeah.
and you guys and you have worked very hard with your kids, because they they didn't come into this world perfect, um,
No,
and and yet you made every effort to give them as many tools as you could give them to live a really happy life. And now look at Lily as an example. Is She's an artist. She did the covers for one of your books.
hmm,
uh, she is talking about creating her own cartoon series, I believe.
yeah,
And
it's a webtoon. Yes, she has her own webtoon going. Yeah.
and Elizabeth is a wonderful songwriter, and we're going to play. Hopefully later on in the show, we're going to play one of their songs, which it's a video, and it is just incredible. It makes me tear up every time, because you're using actors and kids in the video who all have, not all, but most of them have special needs, and
There's
they
a
are
lot of them.
happy,
Yeah.
and they're smiling, and it just is an uplifting video, and not to mention the song behind it that Elizabeth did when she was like 16, which is not
She
fair.
did. She did. I know, right? I know. She's so amazing with her, and a little bit to back up about that. She was like, I mean, painfully shy as a child. I mean, I remember middle school, high school, she still wouldn't even order her own food at a restaurant. That's just how contracted she was, if you want to call it, and introverted. So growing up, but she could get on stage though, which is really interesting. And Thornton is texting me, so let's see what Thornton has to say here real quick. He is saying, okay, he lost signal. He's trying to get back on Wi-Fi. Okay, I'm going to text him the link while we're talking. Okay.
Okay.
But what I did with the children, because of the situation with them, was I used music, I used art, I used dancing, I used instruments, I used um, uh, exercise, for them to have a channel to be able to process how they were feeling.
in,
And go ahead.
in fact, Lily, you taught her how to speak by
Mhm.
singing the alphabet.
Yeah, exactly right. Because she couldn't say the letters, right? She talked like she had what's called cluttering. So she was like, "Ticka, ticka, 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 okay, mommy." And that was her language. And at the time, I mean, I had a daycare. I'd been around kids. I'd helped raise my brothers. So, but I'd never stumbled upon this before. And so we kind of thought, oh, it's so cute, right? She sounds like a fairy. and and at the time, that's all the clothes that she wanted to wear. I can't even begin to tell you what I went through with her as a child, but that's before I knew. I mean, she's on the spectrum, and her obsession with fairy clothes, but then her language. So at first it's like, oh, it's kind of cute, but then it's like, no, this is a delay. This is all these other things that I didn't know about. So I was introduced to that world at the depth that I was with her when she was about 2.5. Um, and thus began therapies, people coming into the home, OT and speech every week, testing and trying these things out, and putting her in a public school classroom that was specifically for what was going on with her. So it was just a whole new world of things I didn't know. And so Elizabeth had a lot of sensory issues when she was little, but nobody was diagnosing back then. I mean, we're talking 22 years ago. The pediatrician's like, yeah, she's got sensory texture, sensitivity. She'll be fine. And it was like, she's 23 and still, She has tools and ways to handle her sensory stuff. We're a very sensory family. The conversations are open about it. And just this year, Carson's starting to ask me questions about autism, and but he thinks it's a good thing. But that's how I've raised him. I haven't raised him to think that he's different or weird or bad or that it's wrong. It's just that his brain thinks differently, And I want him to always feel that way. We had to change schools this year, and that was a really difficult thing to go through. He'd been in the same school since kindergarten. School closed in May, the day before school got out. So I spent the summer not only homeschooling him to catch him up, but to find a new school for him. There's Thornton.
And with that, I'd like to introduce Thornton Cline.
Hello, Kevin. Hey, Mary. I can't believe how long it took to get on here. The internet here is very not reliable. The Wi-Fi here. So, anyways.
Well, that's okay, young man, because we've had the chance to talk to Mary a little bit about her kids and about the books and the singing and the things that she went through growing up. We got lots more to talk about, but I did want to introduce you properly because you deserve a proper introduction. Not only are you an author, but you are a songwriter. You have over 1,000 songs, over 100 published songs. You've got a #1 song. If it's not right now, it was relatively recently in Europe. You work with Ted Perlman, who I adore. He can talk about so many, Bob Dylan and Whitney Houston and so many famous people that he's worked with. And you guys are all just terrific. So I want to thank you. And by the way, you were awarded a Hall of Fame award, weren't you not?
That's correct. Very, very good memory. In the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame here for it's actually the TSAI, Tennessee Songwriters Association, and that was I think it was 2 years ago. Yes, and that was it was quite an honor to be accepted and inducted.
Now, did you get to go down the red carpet and then sit there and then them talk nicely about you and then you go up and make a speech?
Yeah, I did get to make a speech, and it was held at a theater. You've probably heard of it. It's a lot of people have heard of it. It's near the Opry, the Grand Ole Opry. It's called the Troubadour Theater. Theater, and they had a big celebration, and then other people were awarded for things too, for other for their songs and everything. But I got to go up and make a brief speech.
Nice. And Mary was talking to us about when you guys met, because she gave you a couple of manuscripts that you got to read. Tell us about that experience of going through that and finding a partner, in essence.
Well, she approached me. She called me up and said that we met at a school.
Yeah, we were connected through a headmaster at the school where my girls were. He wanted to introduce us to each other.
Yeah, and then she and then we had we got together for lunch. It was a Chick-fil-A. I still remember that, and it wasn't far away. And then we she brought me in the manuscript, and she told me how much she'd been writing, and she had this one special manuscript that she had been working on, which is now being released, has already been released again. Mary, do you have the copy of the book? I have one. I can show you.
I do. Yeah, it's right here.
There you go. That's the new. Actually, that's the second reprint or second print. But want to shout out to our publisher. I'm sure you have already, but Nolan's Triad Publications, and for believing us, thank you. And so she showed me the manuscript, and I really loved it. It was really great. And I asked her. I think you may have already told them the story, but I asked her if what she thought about me writing 10 songs for the book, to go along with it, and she was delighted. So I did that, and her girls, who are Sisters J, as you know, they recorded the music and everything. So it's available now. It has been available, and the tracks and songs are available too. So.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've ever met anybody who just says, "Hi, Mary, I'm Thornton. I want to write 10 songs for your for your book." I'm not. That takes quite a little bit of talent, I would think.
I mean, it's just like I feel like at that time and Thornton probably can agree to this, and you too, Kevin, and anyone else out there. It's like I kept getting this nudging, but I wasn't listening to it, right? That instinct or just that messages or whatever we get. And I felt like finally when I said, okay, fine, I didn't really know what I was doing or who I was going to talk to or anything. All these doors just started opening up. And I feel like sometimes we really get in the flow. If we can get in the flow, then everything it flows. But we are so stubborn as humans, right? And doubtful. We have fears and things that we get in our own way so many times in our life,
Mary, that is a perfect thing to say, because I firmly believe that if we just be a little bit quiet and then we say yes, when things come our way, rather than to say, as an example, you could have said, oh no, I'm a mother of 3 and I'm busy and I've got, and we'll just save these for the kids, which you did say at one point.
I did, because I didn't believe in myself. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like, I don't think I believed that I was worthy enough to have my words be out there in the world. And I think that happens for a lot of people who want to write and they get stuck there. But we all have a story, and everyone's story is important.
Yes, indeed. Well, and Thornton is a author. He's a songwriter. He also, don't you work with the theater group that Lily is part of, and Carson's part of? Is that Thornton? Is that?
Well, both of us. Yeah, both of us do. I mean, the owner is a friend of ours. The way that Thornton and I kind of work with him now is like he does the videos for My Girls. He does the videos. He just did a video for Thornton. One of his music artists. You guys just shot last weekend, right?
Right. It's a new song that's going to be released. We're so excited about it. It's going to be released with an artist at the very end of this year. And it's called L Out of Lonely, L Out of Lonely, L Out of Lonely. And it's gives some hope and everything, but it's that's the time of year, unfortunately, that people get down and sad. Some people do, and everything like that. And so
and by the way, you two, I have somebody on the phone that I think you may know, and she really is a remarkable individual. Can I bring her on the show?
Sure.
Yes, please.
Hey, Elizabeth, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, just awesome. It's great to hear your voice. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's really great to hear your voice, too. It's been a minute.
It has been, but you guys continue to grow and do some great things. We're going to play your song here in a little bit, but say hello to, I think you know these two, Mary and Thornton?
Yeah.
I think so. Hi, Mom.
Baby.
Hi, Thornton.
Hey.
Oh, it's so good to hear my baby's
jump on
voice.
And say hello.
Thank you for saying hi.
Thank you for that. You are a remarkable individual. And now you're out of school. What are you doing now for yourself?
The funny story, I'm not out of school. I just started my master's degree.
Oh, what are you going to master in?
Right now, well, I hope by the end of it I'm a master, but my master's will be in clarinet performance, but I have an assistantship, so I'm doing a lot of administrative things with the bands right now, which is fun.
Oh, cool. So anybody we might know?
MTSU.
Well, yes, it's I work with multiple bands at MTSU. I work with the marching band and the wind ensemble and the symphonic band and the clarinet studio and all the things.
Well, I just want to, before you go, I would really love for you to tell our audience just a real snippet about, first we'll do Thornton, and then I'm going to put you on the spot with your mom. So tell us a little bit about Thornton and how special a man he is.
Well, he's such a cool person, and I've really enjoyed not only getting to know him, but becoming friends, because he's so creative and intelligent, and picking his brain is so much fun. I actually interviewed him for a project that I did in undergrad, But learning more about his songwriting process and how him and my mother have worked together to write books, it's been really, really remarkable. And he's a wonderful person, and so is my mom. And to see them work together, it's a really, really cool combination. So.
Well, I have to tell you, I get to interview a lot of people, and I've never met such a well-connected family with Thornton and your mom and you and your sister and Ted, and Carson's coming along too. So he's the young one, and he's going to be coming along and doing some great things as well. He's an actor and a drummer. And so you guys are all got so much talent. Mary, where did it come from? And what does Mr. Jackson think about all this?
I don't know, Elizabeth. You want to answer that? What does your dad think?
Well, my dad is more talented than he lets on. He was a drummer in high school.
Yeah, he was a drummer in high school, so he's got some music in him.
I'd like to say that I get my rhythm from both of my parents.
Cool. That is awesome. And I'm sure that Mr. Jackson is just pleased and just so proud of you guys.
He is. He's the corporate man in the family. So.
Oh, good. So he handles money and all that kind of stuff.
He has to make it.
Well, it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it, because producing records, as you guys know, producing records is expensive.
Yes, and there's not the payback. The payback doesn't come back quickly. Thornton and I were just talking about that today, right, Thornton?
Right, it does come back, but it depends on what part of the territory. We usually get what you call PROs, which are ASCAP or BMI. They're called performing rights organizations that collect money for you for TV and radio and film and all those things. And the quarter just came for BMI today, and ASCAP was just a little bit ago. And so we get paid every quarter. And the domestic, which is U.S., would be probably would get paid every 6 to 9 months after a song has been recorded somewhere in the United States and performed. But if it's performed overseas, like some of our songs are, I've hit number one, they can take up to 2 to 3 years to receive money. Can you think of any other business where it would take that long to get paid, I guess?
2 to 3 years. How do you even remember what you're supposed to get paid?
I know. I'm thinking, wait a minute. I got songs are on there, and some of them aren't on there.
There he is.
I'm going, huh?
There you are. You dropped off for a sec. You're back.
I said, I get a royalty statement, and I'm going, well, some of the songs are on there, and then some of them aren't on there that were on the charts and were playing. So,
You got to call somebody.
Yeah, you do.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
So before Elizabeth, before you go, I have to ask you: are you and your sister? Do you have a new song in the works?
We do. It's cooking.
And when is it going to be cooked?
It's we're putting the final touches on it, so it should be released hopefully at the beginning of the new year, because with Christmas coming around, everybody wants Christmas music, which we're also working on something Christmassy too.
Yeah, but Kevin, she needs to tell you, Alyssa, tell him real quickly where the song came from.
Oh, so during the pandemic, I had major writer's block, and so I was actually inspired by, lo and behold, Taylor Swift, one of her new albums, because she was writing stories about other people and not just herself. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. So what if, so I got on TikTok and made a video, and in the video it says, write something about yourself in the comments, and I will write a song about you, because I needed inspiration. And so it blew up more than I thought it was going to. There were so many people to pick from, and I found this one person in the comments that said that they loved creeks and rivers, and that they came from a troubled home life, and that really just kind of struck me. And so that's where this song came from. And it's inspired by this person, but it's also coming from a place that I can relate to, and then also other people can relate to, because that's the point. And Thornton will tell you that if you want a song to be a hit, you got to write something that's relatable. And this song, Lily and I have finished it finally, because I only had about maybe a minute and a half of a song, and Lily and I figured out how to finish it. And definitely this song, I can feel the 20-year-old Elizabeth inside me being like, that's what I needed back then. And so I love this song. And if it hits me as much as it hits me, I hope it hits other people too in the same kind of way, because it's important to acknowledge where you are, but also growth. And sometimes songs that are not necessarily the happiest of songs can help grow you, but also be happy at the end, kind of things like that. So.
You're going to make me cry again, aren't you?
Well, it's a slow. I just when she played it, and Thornton loves the lyrics because we talked about it. But when she played it for me, the hair on my arm stood up, and I was like, "Oh my God! Like you have to finish this." So I hounded her for a while. I was like, "Baby, you got to finish that song." It's just so feely and ethereal. And they were on the radio 4 months ago, I think, with Angela Easley in Nashville, and Ted was with them, and Ted's wife was with us, and they started playing it, and she goes, "Mary, what is this song?" She goes, "My hair is standing up." I said, "I know." And so she was like, she said, "Ted, this is the next song. This has to be done, you know." So he gives me a hard time because he says that she and I harassed him about it, you know, because he wanted to write, and he still does. He wanted to write a song with Lily and Elizabeth from the bottom up, you know, come up with the music first, then write it.
Well, you guys are going to do that. I got to ask you though, because you know I get to interview a lot of folks, but when somebody has that kind of reaction to a song, what are you guys going to do? Now, as an example, one of your videos that is on positivetalkradio.net and YouTube has been downloaded like 23,000 times or 24,000 times.
Holy cow.
What are you going to do when that song hits and it blows up? Because one of your songs is going to blow up, and then I think it's going to be like the Beatles. People will look at your catalog and they'll go back to the songs that are already produced, and they'll go, "Oh, I like that one too, and I like that one too." What are you going to do?
Have a party.
Thanks.
Write some more.
we can try, God willing.
Well, you're so young.
Mom's gonna do a cartwheel. Okay, I don't know if I'll get up, but
we need to put that in the video. That would be fun.
Oh no.
That kind of would be funny. I'll pay money.
So these guys are also they're just so talented. It's great. And Thornton, if somebody would like to find out more about you and your work and all the things you've done, how do they do that?
We have a website called Thornton Cline. That's an N on the middle, N like Nancy, THORNTON Cline CLINE, and it's .com, and it's a new revised website, has everything on there, all music, all the books, and everything. So
by our dear friend Virginia Limbanda.
Yeah, she designed it. It was really great. It looks great, and so that's how you find me. I'm also on Facebook. You know, it's Thornton Douglas Cline. If you want to find me and give me a shout. I mean, anybody listening out there, all the way to was it British Columbia, right? And
yeah, this is KIXI, so it's a 50,000 watt station in Seattle. So it goes from Seattle close to the Canadian border and down to Chehalis or so, and so we've got lots of potential for lots of people to listening. And do you know who John Tesh is?
Sure do. I love his music. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's on the station right before us. So we've got some loyal John Tesh people that I'm sure stayed for Positive Talk Radio because we're gaining some traction here as well.
Well, congratulations! That's awesome. You know, I just want to say that, and also, don't you have online listeners too? Of course, right? I mean, as far as Wade probably is in Europe or in other places that listen to also, probably, right?
We've been downloaded in over 100 countries and all 50 states. I don't know what's going on, but somebody in Hong Kong apparently likes us a lot. So,
well, that's a day. That's a day. Isn't that a whole day difference and something like that?
You got me. I have no
Go,
earthly
Kevin.
idea.
That's awesome.
So we are Positive Talk is growing, and with people like you, Mary and Thornton, I got to tell you, you are special, and Elizabeth. You guys are all special to me. You really are. And
we love you. You're part of the family.
Yeah, you're it's amazing, and we do appreciate your belief in us and everything, and you having us on your show and everything.
Well, I was going to tell Elizabeth, tell Lily, and you guys, when you get that song done, you have to come back on the show and premiere it here.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be awesome. And by the way, Elizabeth, thank you for your nice, kind words too. Thank you.
Oh, well, you're welcome. I'm just spitting facts.
Hashtag,
right?
Now that's the Southern girl coming at her. I'm just spitting facts.
I'm just spitting facts, Elizabeth.
Well, that's yeah.
I love it.
Because they are in Tennessee. So
that's right. You have to say y'all.
Yeah, yes.
I'm actually right now in downtown Nashville too. I'm in Nashville right now.
I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm downtown Nashville. I'm not.
He's in the studio right now writing.
Right, I'm in the studio downtown. Actually, Kevin, we just finished writing a Christmas song. Isn't that funny?
Okay. Well, 'tis the season, you know.
I know. So,
you need to write a song called "Jingle My Bells." There you go. Right?
No.
That's pretty funny, actually.
I'm gonna put a cap on that one and say, how about probably not?
Really? Okay.
I mean,
it is hard to come up
guess,
with. It is hard to come up, Kevin, with very original Christmas tunes, because there's people that say they write original songs and they've all been done, and so I mean I'm talking about something totally new to this planet, really, really fresh and new that somebody hasn't said. It's tough, very tough, because
there are only so many chords.
Well, no, and that, but there's just so many of the same ideas and things that are coming out, and there's nothing like real fresh, new and stuff, really, or saying something different than anybody else has said, So
now I got to ask all of you this question, because I was on the phone when Ted was in the room, and I think Thornton was there, and Mary was there, and the girls were there. What's it like when the five of you get together in a creative session and are all coming up with these really cool ideas?
Well,
this happened right now today. We have 3 writers total. We're great writers too, and a recording artist, and we were just tossing around ideas and things. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. It really is a lot of fun. There's a lot of kinetic energy. It's sort of like bouncing off, and it's a really fun experience to watch the girls and Ted, and then they go at it with each other. At each other, but it's in a good way. It's not a bad way, but he harasses them, they harass him, and but it's all fun and banter. And then Lily will pipe in, and she'll she'll go for the juggler with Ted, and then he's like, I think he's afraid of her. I don't know. What do you think, Elizabeth?
It's really funny because she just gives him the death glare, and then he's like, okay, I can't fight with both of y'all. It's
funny.
Also, we go through times where we're in the creative process, but we don't get anything done because we laugh so much, or we just all have so many ideas that we're just bouncing off one another, and we have ideas, but then we start talking about other things and blah, 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 blah. But it's always so fun.
Oh, you guys, I would please take a camera in there, stick the camera up in the corner, and just have it record one of those moments, because I think that would be a lot of fun.
You'll have so much content.
I will, because I am putting together, Kevin, as a Kickstarter, because we need to raise funds to finish the album out. So that is a video that will be in the Kickstarter. So
cool.
Well, you might have an actual television show. They come up with a television show about behind the scenes. What's behind the scenes of how hit song was written. Like actually watch hits. hit writers write together and with artists, and that can be like pretty amusing and pretty entertaining actually, to see how it goes through the thought process and all.
Yeah.
That I think would be very interesting for most of us who have no earthly idea how to do it, and to watch
like
people.
How does the song get started? Most people just think you just,
Yeah.
I guess, just whip up a song and it's all,
It's inspiration for things like, I know we say, I mean, my language and Thornton's language, and even Elizabeth now is like, that's a book title. For me, it was a book title forever, right? Now it's like, that's a song. That's a total song. Mm-hmm. And Thornton and I can be in a conversation on the phone. It's like, oh my gosh, we need to write a song about that. Like a song that has been waiting. We started one about a song being waiting to be sung. Like all these songs that are sitting on a shelf that may never ever be heard in this life. I know.
I've started to make a list like that so I don't forget the little phrases.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
That's where we have a kind of a hook book or hook list. I'm always thinking titles. Mary knows that, and Elizabeth does too. They do both know that. But like in a writing session, we can be writing a song, and all of a sudden, a whole bunch of new titles and ideas just start flying. That's when creativity flies, and just
it's amazing. And Thornton, I have to tell you, Thornton. So Thornton and I were working with Chris Golden, and we were writing with him. So we wrote this song with him. I hope
the Goldens. You've heard the Goldens of the Oak Ridge Boys, basically the same thing.
Yeah, William Lee Golden's son, and from the Oak Ridge Boys, and it's called "The Devil's Working Overtime." So it's old Southern country, and Carson was singing the song the other day.
He remembered it?
Yes. Oh, he's in the backseat. He's in the backseat. The devil's working overtime. He was singing the song, and
Wow. Well, I guess we did write a pretty good song.
I know. We have to tell Chris that. Chris, you got to get this. I know, Chris, you got to get this thing recorded, man, because it's ready. It's time to be out there. But I just thought that was hilarious.
Hey, Thornton, there was a guy that I for a while I did a late night local musician show.
Right.
On KKNW, and one of the guys, he was 15 years old at the time, and he's been down in Nashville doing some stuff. He's a singer-songwriter. His name is Dylan Warnock. Are you familiar with that name at all?
I've heard that name. Yes, I have. Yeah.
Oh, good. So he's down there, and he was been doing that kind of thing as well. So
I guess I'll look him up. Huh? Should I say you said hey to him, right, or whatever? Huh?
Yeah, well, he still has a video somewhere out there that from my show way back when. It was called Kevin McDonald Presents, oddly enough,
right,
and stuff. So, but I love you guys because I can't do anything of what you guys can do, but you just inspire the heck out of me.
But you have everybody. I tell people that all the time. There's people that tell me that they say I have no talent, I can't do what you're doing, and I say, I believe everybody has some kind of a talent. They just don't always, sometimes they don't recognize it right away. It takes time to develop it or find it. But I think everybody's talent. You yourself have a talent. You're very gifted at, the show and everything, and hosting and talking. So, I mean.
Absolutely, Kevin.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, because if my talent is to bring people like you to people who would like to listen to what you have to say.
Right, one of your talents is being able to recognize what other people have and gifts and talents and things like that, and then share them with your audiences, right?
Oh, exactly, and that works for me, and then I get the chance to meet, like as an example, when Elizabeth and Lily are walking down the red carpet to receive their Emmy, and that will be, I can say, hey, I knew them when.
Well, yeah, and that would be the time when we call up Kevin and say, hey, Kevin, we've got a scoop and we're giving it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, bless your soul.
And we won the lottery, so we're going to send you a ticket to come hang with us, right?
I don't know.
Well, I love what I do. I love talking to you guys. And by the way, before we get too far down the road, We've got about 14 minutes left. By the way, Eric, I've killed the commercials again, so don't worry. Don't worry about it. But if you're a syndicator, I do run commercials during my show anyway. But
yeah, you got to let them know that. Yeah.
Hey, we'd love to hear from your audiences too. Anybody wants to, don't be shy. Just drop us a line or something, because I'd love to hear from some of the people.
Yeah. So if Eric will. If Eric is there, I don't have the number right in front of me, but Eric, if somebody wants to give us a call, how do they do that? He may not be right there.
Hey, I have the number. Do you want me to give you the number?
Oh, would you please?
I have the number. Yes. Elizabeth, are you still there? Did we lose you? Maybe we lost Alyssa. Oh, you're still there. Okay. It's 866-880-5494.
You sound like a podcaster.
Yeah.
And I can confirm that's correct.
What?
Thank you, Eric. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're a busy man doing what you're doing. So, but thank you. And so if you'd like to give us a call, you can do that. But I want to make sure that we talk about Mary and your work with Autism Tennessee and your work with, because of your family and your family situation, you've taken upon yourself not to just let it be, hey, there's a song title, and to really do something with your life, and one of those is working with autism. Explain what you're doing with that.
Yeah, and Lily texted me and said she can call in, but I don't know if she ever did. So, yeah, so we talked earlier in the show before Thornton was able to get on about my journey with autism with my children. And I guess there was just so much to it that there was no way that it wasn't going to be a big part of my life, because of the needs that my children had. And then Lily went through a significant trauma at 5, which changed my direction as an advocate. And I decided to get certified. I didn't really get finished with all that till after Carson was born, but I wanted to know what my rights were, what my children's rights were, my family's rights were for protection, and just to know that knowledge, because the situation that happened with Lily took me down a path of trying to change the law in the state we live in back then. And still even today, I'm coming at it from a different point of view or a different avenue. And some of that is with Autism Tennessee, because changing law in a state is quite challenging. It's very difficult. And I wanted to right the wrong that happened to her and make sure it never happened to any other children ever. It just should never happen. But through the certification, I'm able to help families, with services in schools and understand those things and what their rights are and stuff. But it also has allowed me to go from a very disempowering place with what happened to a very empowered place. I feel like knowledge is really a key to empowerment in our lives. And as a parent with a child with needs, it doesn't matter what your child's needs are. Whatever challenge they have, the more you're educated about what they have, the more you can help your child be the most successful that they can be, because you are their advocate. Sometimes you're their voice, especially if you have a child who's non-communicative or nonverbal. You have to become so much more in your life than you thought you would be. And so I get to be an ambassador advocate with Autism Tennessee. I get to go out in the public and the community and to educate and help. And it's been really amazing, the journey that it has taken me on. And I've tried to bring the books and the music and kind of all that together, so because they're all passions of mine. And our libraries need to be more sensory friendly, and I've helped create a sensory room here in our library locally, and then there's one now in the National Public Library too, and because children and families need to feel comfortable, and the library is a very important place to go because literacy is everything, isn't it?
Oh yeah. And by the way, and this is for Elizabeth and for Thornton, I suggest that Mary is when you get her going on something, she's a mama bear and isn't going to stop. Elizabeth, what do you think?
You nailed it right on the head.
She's a tough mama bear.
Oh, she's the strongest woman I know. And I hope to be just like her when I grow up.
I mean, now you're going to make me cry.
It's all the work.
I've always said that she's the wind beneath my wings.
Well, you're mine, so right back at you. I love you.
Now you're going to make me cry.
I know.
Would you? I love that song. Elizabeth, would you and Lily do a cover of that? I think you guys would do a phenomenal job if you did a cover of that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
The writer lives in Nashville. He wrote the song. Yeah.
Oh,
really?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you can probably get a hold of him.
Oh, let's do it. That would just be amazing, and I would bawl my eyes out through the whole thing.
I mean, Bette Midler did a wonderful job with it, but I think the two of you could do every bit as good as that.
That would be gorgeous.
So write that down now. Write that down. And so
write that down.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, we're going to run out of time here, but Thornton, I'd like you to again say to our audience, this is the part of the program where I get to shut up. It's your turn. So you tell our audience anything that you would like them to know about you, about life, about whatever you'd like them to know.
Well, I love writing, and it's really truly a passion. And whether I ever made any money, I haven't made money out of it, but if I ever made any money out of it, I would still, if I hadn't made any money out of it, I would still be doing it because I love it. It's actually a true passion. But of course, you still have to pay your bills and things. But other thing is, I always want to keep passing it forward or paying it forward to the next generation, because I think that's real important to keep them going. You know, like you got the Sisters Jay and other people they work with. I like to try to write with a lot of people also that are the younger generation next coming up, because I know that they're going to keep that flame going all the way through, you know, the other generations and then pass it to other people. So that's one of the things that I would like to say to people that are doing that, you know, with their passion and dream, to never give up. I know it's easy to quit. There's people 150 people come to Nashville every day, but a lot of people do leave, they quit. And Nashville can be like a 7 to 10 year town, meaning that it can take that long to make it. So you got to hold on. It's not a part of quitting, but believing in yourself. Like Mary had said, she didn't believe in herself at first, but now she does. So that's sort of my philosophy there. And I really appreciate it. I'm very grateful to people like yourself, Kevin, you know, for hosting us and believing in us and everything. So having you on our show, show.
You guys are extraordinarily talented, and 7 to 10 years, that's what it takes. And if you're not, you know, I had a friend say to me, well, I want to do a podcast, and what if I'm not successful right away? And I said, the only way you're not going to be successful is if you quit.
Yes, that's true. Mm-hmm. Because the thing is, you don't know if that next big hit or that next thing might be yours, and you suddenly just quit like a couple days before it happened, or it would happen, or a year before it happened. You see what I'm saying? It could happen.
You just don't know. And as long as you're putting out good content and doing what your heart tells you to do, you're going to be a winner regardless of whether you get rich from it or not. It becomes immaterial. Mary, your turn.
I was saying, Elizabeth always said that. She can second me on this, but she says she just wants to be very successful in life, but it doesn't matter if she's famous or not. She just wants to be very successful and happy at what she's doing. And I think that's great. I would say don't give up on yourself. And I would say really age doesn't matter, because I mean, this career for me where I'm at didn't start till I was 48, almost 50 years old. So I never knew that was going to happen. And at that age, you might think you're kind of done almost, right? You're at the halfway mark. We hope to live to 100, but that doesn't happen for everyone. But you know what I'm saying? You think, oh, I've lost all the time I could do things. No, you never know when it's going to happen. And you can't, if you don't do it, it never gets done. So you just have to have faith and take that leap. And I would say for parents out there who are struggling and looking for help with their child, reach out to the doctor and look for services and support and other groups of children who might be going through the same thing that you are, because support is very, very important. I hope we just keep getting to do what we're doing right now, because we want to keep having fun, and it's fun. And it's wonderful to be able to be creative in this world. So it is a gift. And thank you, Kevin, for being with us through the journey of the music. That's been, a very important part of it, is our friendship with you. And we want to send some authors your way. Yes, I do. And we want to tell everybody to, they can find our books. The Inspired Kids series is on Amazon and other places where books are sold. And you can look up my name on Amazon, Mary Elizabeth Jackson, or Thornton Cline. The books will show up there. You can go to Norn's Triad Publications. The books are there. All the ebooks are there. And we want to give a shout out. I already did to our publisher, but all the authors that are in our group, that we have a really positive group. It's a small group, but it's really a wonderful group of supportive. We're all real supportive of each other. So it's wonderful. But my website's www.maryejackson.com, and girls are at sistersj.com is their website. So
and sadly, that's got to be the last word. Elizabeth, I'm sorry. Okay. We'll get you next time, because we've run out of time, sadly.
Okay.
And by the way, be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got. We'll see you Monday at 3 p.m. on KNW.